I,
Well, I
love
appreciate it too.
I love it. I want to welcome everybody that stopped by today, whether on YouTube. Well, it's going to be on YouTube, but it's also going to be on Twitch as well. Welcome to the Noisy Chair Podcast, Episode 2. I want to let everyone know why the creation of the Noisy Chair happened. People want to share their stories, their concerns, being loud. And that's where I like to listen and talk about stuff, have an opinion, talk to people. That's what this is all about, right? So in my studio, got a cool cat, good friend of mine who is not a stranger to my podcast. He's got a lot of great plans coming up. I want to welcome you, Joey Drex, to the podcast today.
Thank you, Dave. Great to be here.
It is awesome. It's good to see that you're looking good. Good to see that things haven't changed. Like we haven't lost an arm or that sort of stuff. Because that's the whole thing that we talked about. I think the last time we spoke, you were on my podcast, was before the pandemic.
Yeah, it was just right at the beginning, man.
It like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I mean, like,
it is.
And the studio wasn't under reno, so it was on the other side of my place here. But listen, if anyone doesn't know who Joey is, Joey specializes in mental health awareness and provides guidance and tools to help people in their journey to a positive place. And we have there are a lot of people who just are not in a positive place right now. And we're here to talk about that. And my main focus is also just to let everybody know that my target is music. I'm a DJ. I love music, but I also love talking to people about their business and life around it. So it could be anything. You love music.
Yeah.
You associate your job, whether it's your day job or your consulting job, to incorporate your music and find ways of tools to aid in the mental health. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So that's what I'd like to drive my focus on, is that. Not just talk about, oh, Joey, you're a DJ. Where did you play all this time? I'm like,
right.
I love just being, having interesting topics about shit, right?
Depth. So, it's all about the depth of conversation. Right?
Absolutely, man.
Get past the surface stuff. Unwrap that presence.
Exactly. And that's what we're all for, right? So, so listen, I mean, I've been trying to get you in the show for, I don't know how long. I mean, even during the pandemic, I wanted to get you in, but obviously, things change in this world and shutdowns, and it's crazy shit going on, right? So, you're still a huge hockey fan, aren't you?
Oh, of course, buddy. Proud Bruins fan. I know.
Oh, my God.
Blame my brother for that one, man. He
put
a Bruins sticker on my helmet when I was 5 years old. I'll never forget it. Cawthra Park Arena. He comes into the dressing room.
Cawthra Park
Arena.
Yeah, I remember
and he
that.
puts something on my helmet. He slaps it. He goes, look at it after practice. Came off the ice after practice. Took my white Bauer hockey helmet on.
Yeah.
And there it was, the Spoke B. And he goes, that's your team, little brother, when we play road hockey. So him being a Leaf fan, I think he wanted a Bruins rival little brother. And
he could just beat the shit out of when you
but he's still waiting for his Stanley Cup. I've been able to enjoy mine in 2011, and boy did I party, boy.
Oh,
man,
my God.
I'll tell you what, when your team wins a championship and you truly love that team, it's euphoric, man.
Oh my God. I mean, I know you're the Bruins fan, we're the Leaf fans, but hey, listen, whatever it may be, I'm just, I don't know. I think it's the Bruins have always been like a big bully, like the Philadelphia Flyers. They've been just bully team, big teams, But I love hockey. I'm a Leaf fan, but I enjoy just good sports.
Hey, listen, I got a soft spot for the Leafs. You don't grow up in this town without having a soft spot for them, for sure, man. Like their height in the 90s with Gilmore and Andrew Chuck and all those guys. Clark, nobody could throw knuckles like Wendell Clark.
Yeah, that's actually, you made a good point about that. You're always going to be, like a true fan of, or a soft spot of some type of fan.
I'm a Blue Jays fan, diehard. I'm a Raptors fan, love them. I love the Argos. Anything Toronto, I love, except hockey, and that's my older brother. And that's my older brother's fault. So shame on you, Jimmy.
Jimmy. Our topics that we're going to talk today, obviously, you speak about mental health and it is a huge concern. I'm not going to say a problem, but because we're not doctors, we just like to talk about it. But you specialize in this because you've done this. You spoke about it. You've worked for schools that took care of this thing. I mean, the last time we were on, we spoke about building your brand and how you taught teenagers and kids in school, obviously before pandemic. Now the pandemic is, hopefully that it's, subside us right now and we just sort of move forward, right? So, it's not for adults or teens it's not for kids and teens. It's now, sorry, let me rephrase that. We always thought the adults were the ones that showed the fact that we suffered from mental illness. Like they shut down they have issues, but we're having, now it's the adults, teens and kids that are having the issues now.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I think the adults are having, the adults, anybody who's an adult, whether you have a child or not, if you're of age and you're going through some stuff in your life, a lot of it's led up to it. It's because it's what we've learned. You know what I mean? We have to learn coping habits. We have to learn positive ways to deal with it so that we don't get to that point when we're an adult where we lose it.
Right.
We lose it because, oh my God, this is happening. I don't know what to do.
Well, hopefully it's not like a too late situation.
No, I don't think there's ever any situation for too late. I kind of look at it as three different levels: level 1, level 2, level 3.
Okay.
You got your level 1 mental health category where you're sad. You're battling some depression. You're waking up, you're not feeling right. You can't figure it out. You got a happy life. You got a good job. Yeah. But you're just waking up not feeling yourself. You got some work to do. You got to figure that out, because what you want to do is you want to avoid level 2. Level 2 would be all of that, but then you got to have medication. And there's some good medications out there. I'm not like anti-medication.
Right.
I've tried in my life, in my journey, a few, and for me, it didn't work. So I had to find alternative therapies, and I was fortunate enough to do that. But level 2 is where now you're under doctor care, and doctors saying, here, take this, take that, take this, take that, pills. But if you get to that level, what you really got to be careful of is really do your work.
Okay.
Because you don't want to get to level 3 where now you're institutionalized, you're hospitalized. You're under 24-hour care. There's some really severe mental health cases out there, but we have to really put them in categories. If you take care of your shit at level 1, you're going to avoid level 2.
Right.
Pinpoint the problem.
Okay.
Something's going on. I got to talk about it. Communication. You got to start talking. Find that person you can talk to.
You said the magic word, communication. Tough. It's a tough thing to do with kids these days and even teens, where it's like they just either shut down, and we spoke about it offline too. It's like, I'm good, no issues. Like they're suppressing it, they're holding it in. Yeah. And it just, you can't get through to them.
No. And we talked about this before we went on air. Leading by example. You're sitting down with a kid and they're sheltered and you can sense it.
Yeah.
Share a story with them about your life.
Right.
Relate with them, and all of a sudden he or she or they will be like, ooh. I mean, I've been in rooms, man, where I've had classes who were quiet, and 10 minutes later they're all raising their hands wanting to share their story. Right. Because when you can share vulnerability with others, it gives them the strength and the power to be vulnerable too. And let's not sugarcoat this, man. It is hard for people to open up about this shit, because there's still this shadow around it that it's weak. No, it's not fucking weak. I know. It's weak if you don't talk about it. That's when it's weak, because you know what? If you don't take care of it, the reality is, in some severe cases, you might wind up dead. I don't want to be dead. I don't want anybody I know dead.
No, I mean, it's obviously pretty harsh to say that, but
it's the reality.
It is reality. That's what I want to say. It is reality.
People get to a point, if they're not talking, if they're not communicating, where waking up is hard, right? That's the hardest part, man.
Right.
Like, God, could you imagine waking up today going, I don't want to wake up anymore? Like, too many people are waking up like that. We want to avoid that. And I don't want anybody. Listen, man, I've had too many parents in my life come up to me talking about their children who either attempted suicide or unfortunately did commit suicide. Right. And that's why I say it so bluntly, because It's real.
Yeah,
it's real.
You can say the F word. It doesn't matter to me.
I'm trying to be. And listen, I've done my research on the F word. It's not a bad thing to say. You're just emphasizing your passion.
We say it in conversation. Okay. To your thing, not to make a joke about it, but it is true. Kids that are getting up and they're saying to themselves, "Oh my God, I don't want to get up," or who, like they have no one to talk to, but they have their family. They have, and I think it does happen at home where it's like you need to, as a parent or parents, focus on, yes, we're driven to work. That's what the parents are, is driven to work, and make money, support, give food on the table and a roof over their head. But sometimes the in between stuff lacks, or it doesn't get involved, or sometimes the parents are not comfortable talking to their kids. Right. And we talked about it as well. It's like, I'm always in my kids' faces. If there's something new that's happening, I'd like to know about it. Not in a bad way, but even if you think that nothing is wrong, you always want to still just say, "Hey, Joey, what's going on, man? How's your day today? Like, what are the name 3 great highlights you had today?"
It's a great thing. Get them thinking about, was there 3 things? Was there 3 great things today?
And it's not just bad that there isn't 3 things. Even if they said 1 to 3 things, tell me some good things you had today. And the bad things, listen, we all have, our days can go to shit no matter what.
Oh, in a second.
Exactly.
We're only 1 second away from being in a very horrific mindset.
You're absolutely right. Less than that sometimes.
It's
You're like,
true,
bing,
man.
boom. We'll talk about triggers later, during the show.
Totally. But you mentioned like the in between things, right? And that communication. I really like that idea. Tell me 3 good things today, and that's used in a lot of areas. And I think it's very powerful, because if you can find 1, if you can find 2, you're going to find 3 and maybe even more. Right. But honestly, it's the whole thing about setting that tone, getting that communication happening consistently, asking that repetition.
Right.
Whether it's sitting down at the family dinner table once a week, twice a week, whatever works for family. But here's the challenge. When we were kids, we were outside playing. We got inside, we were either watching cartoons or we were spending time with the family, because guess what we didn't have, man? We didn't have these.
No phones.
So here's what happens. Kids come in today from a stressful outside time maybe, right? And now something happened with their friends or something. And they get inside. How was your day? Good. And they go upstairs. And now they're on their phones. Now they're on their screens, because the outside world doesn't stay outside, man. It just comes into the bedroom. And so with that, more pressure, more stress. Maybe he or she or the kids are dealing with what just happened. And you think they're fine, because the reality is, man, they're never disconnected anymore.
Right. Okay.
They're never disconnected. We need to, we need to set times to disconnect. So, if families are going to sit down and have that time, turn the phones off. Just put them on the counter. It's crazy. Try telling your kid to put the phone on the counter at dinner time. Oh my God, you think World War III is about to happen?
I know.
Like they're hooked to it, man. They're hooked to it. So all I'm saying is, even though the kids are saying we're fine, their eyes are constantly on a screen. We don't know what they're doing anymore, man. Our parents knew what we were doing.
Oh yeah,
Scooby-Doo, grilled cheese sandwiches, and tomato soup, and that's it. We weren't on screens.
Right, exactly.
We're not getting bullied online.
No,
we're not bullying online.
Right,
because we were in the moment with our family. There's not enough of that, man, and we're never going to get back to that, Dave, because the world is changing. Technology is advancing.
Yeah, it is. It's massively changed, and we have this. And I refer to I listen to a lot of podcasts and a lot of things about the tech giants of what they're able to do. And it's sickening on what goes on and how they manipulate, and they want our kids, or they want us to use technology to be tracked, but to be monitored, let's say, or to create an issue, as you called it, that they got their phones, they're hiding behind their phones. Their kids and people, not just kids and adults, sometimes have the ability to feel comfortable texting, yelling, bullying, anything online, and that's horrible. It is horrible. And the kids. I'm going to refer back to the kids. I think to focus on, like, I like to catch it because our children is what's happening is going to be in our new world, in our world now, and what's happening with what's going on with the world. They're going to be involved in that now. So we need to. And I always thought to myself, why can't we bring back the old school? You know, I'm not necessarily the rotary phones, but I mean, like, forget about the technology for a bit. Yeah. You know, like you look at the trucker convoy where they said that, you know, for I think it was today or yesterday, they said for 1 hour, just turn off the TV and just think about things. Okay. And I'm not going to go into any more about that. That's just
a whole other
right.
conversation.
I'm just listening. I want to talk about, you know, I want to focus on the children because they're the ones that are bringing up what we teach them, not what the tech giants are teaching them.
Well said, man. We have to be careful of that.
Fuck. It is horrible.
Because when we're not parenting, man, they are.
Fuck, that's crazy shit, man.
It's true. Think about crazy. That. When we are not parenting, they are, because they're fucking feeding and feeding and feeding. If I open up my TikTok, look, I'm on the social media channels because I have to be aware.
Sure.
I enjoy it, but I'm
no,
all about positive. I'm all about positivity.
Yeah.
I shared a video on my Twitter the other day, and this guy's like, "Oh my God, I got rid of my TikTok, but I love watching yours because you're the only thing positive about TikTok." Well, thank you for the nice compliment, but it says a lot about TikTok. If I'm the only positive thing on TikTok, we're in fucking trouble. But seriously, man, if you look at my feed on TikTok, so you have the people you're following. Right. You can watch their videos. Here's how TikTok works, right? And then you have your For You page. And it's basically based on what you're watching.
Right.
If I go down my For You page, you're going to see mostly positive quotes, positive people, you know, Denzel Washington giving a speech at the Grammys, things like that, man. I go through my buddy's TikTok. It's girls twerking. It's guys flashing money, driving fancy cars. What the fuck are our kids watching?
Right.
What's the reality? What's the perception of real life?
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's all this pressure. Oh, I got to have an ass like that. I've got to have abs like that.
Well,
I've got to have a car like that. You're putting way too much pressure on this. It's never going to change, man.
No
matter how much we talk about it, there's too much money involved.
Oh my God. That's all it's all about.
And we're their number one customers, man.
Yeah. And we are like lab rats to their you know, their building of what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
You know, so I just, you know, that's totally separate. And I don't understand. I do understand. And I can't wrap my head about shit like that.
It's separate, yes, but it's very relevant too in our discussion because, you know, you ever look at your screen time each week, man? You know, when Apple or whoever you with sends you your screen time, I pay attention. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm averaging around the same. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less.
Yeah.
But that's screen time, man. That's your life right there. Like, that's what we're doing. We're sitting there looking at the screen, and whether it's 8 hours, 10 hours, I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it's good.
Impactful.
But good direction, yeah.
But the kids, man, this is what I mean. Like, I'm okay. And then they're upstairs watching this stuff. Right. Wanting to do this stuff.
Well, that's why their social media feeds have those different those different feeds. Yeah. Because they are watching it, because they were interested in it. They saw it. They did something. They like something. So that builds the analytics and the algorithms for these fucking tech giants that just throw all the shit in there, right?
Powerful, man.
So that's what they're seeing on their phone. So God knows, like, I mean, I'm not afraid to look through my kid's phone, but you know, we always talk about shit like that, right? And you know, you go into, and I want to talk about, you know, to go back and the teaching side of it.
Yeah.
You know, yes, parents are the ones at it, but during the day, it's the teachers out there that, you know, that are teaching online. That's a concern, to at least for me.
Yeah.
Like, but more, how are we going to help the kids get back to a physical social world, not electronic one, a physical one? Building things at school and and going out to the recess, or you got a spare class, you talk to your buddies, like you sit down, like how we used to do it, man. Fuck, we used to go outside, either smoke a cigarette and have a coffee, or you're in the cafeteria with your brown bag lunch and playing euchre or Italian cards or whatever it's going to be, but that does not. I'm pretty sure that if you go to a cafeteria on break, it is Deadsville. Oh, maybe a few kids that still do it, but
if they're in there, they're on their phones. They're not. There's no
right.
talking,
I totally get that. I just want to know, like, what tools can we present today that that would make this that we can help make this happen.
It's a great question, and I don't know if there's ever any one real answer here.
Right.
But what worked for our programs when I was in the schools, whether it be kindergarten, grade 12, what worked was repetition. Okay. So part of the program was it was a 21-day challenge. So for 21 days, every student in the school participated in the challenge, right? And that challenge was, how can we be kinder? How can we be better? How could we help somebody else, not hurt somebody? Get that mindset of, look, at the end of the day, I really believe that no matter how mad you are at somebody or upset or whatever word you want to use, with a calm state of mind, do you really want to hurt that person? Or maybe they need help, right? Maybe this isn't about you. Maybe it's about them. So the challenge was, how can we shift the students' mindsets to think ultimately about helping, not hurting? That was it, man. How could we get that? Well, through conversation. So through the course, conversations in the classroom with the teacher. Student takes the course home to mom and dad at the dinner table. There's homework to do. So now it starts the conversation at home. So for 21 straight days, the students had these assignments to do. They'd bring them back every day. Everything get recorded, acts of kindness, everything. Schools got so into it, it became foundational throughout the entire year, not just for 21 days, because, Dave, that repetition happened. Right. And after 21 days, teachers were saying, I love this so much, I just kept doing it in my classroom. So that still gives me chills today, because the programs don't exist anymore. That's another story for another time. Right. But the effects of that program still come through today. And it's because, look, man, you can bring a speaker in. Hey, how are you? Blah. You could deliver. You could be great. At the end of the day, you leave. You have like 300 students in the gym for an hour. You have the first 2 rows hearing you. My point being is this. I couldn't go into a school and just leave after 2 hours. I felt, what did I do? What did I provide? What worked and why my program was successful was that each classroom I went to, I said, I'm not here to speak to 300, 400, 500 kids in the school, because we won't reach everybody. I'm here to reach each classroom. And the feedback was always, we've had great speakers, we've had great presenters, but never anything like this, because they just left. And then the next day, people might say, oh, remember him? By day 3, you're not remembered anymore. So because even though I had left after day 1, spending the full day, my programs were involved for the next 3 to 4 weeks. And then almost all schools kept the program going all year long, because it was showing effectiveness. We were shifting kids' mindsets from helping, not hurting. We had teachers email me, text me, message me in some way saying, this child, who was my problem child, is now helping students. And I just wanted to let you know that your program's working. We would reward them. They'd all get certificates for doing this. Leadership programs in high school. We had students step up running focus groups with their other fellow high school students. I'm telling you, Dave.
Yeah, I love that.
It was because we talked about that, right?
Right.
These groups.
Yeah. That's
key. So why the programs worked, how can we reach these kids again? We need to get back in the schools.
Right. We
need to get back in the classrooms, and we need to just start shifting their mindsets out of where they are now. Thinking about, I had students come up to me. I had no idea I was hurting my friends by saying these things. Words hold great power, right? We got to nip it in the butt now. So repetition, communication amongst each others, communication with your teacher, communication at home. It's not easy, but it takes time. And through 21 days, that's why it worked, man. They say it takes 21 days to make or break a habit, and it is absolutely true. You can do it. And we have proof in the pudding. I tell you, man, I think we surpassed 2 million acts of kindness in our programs.
Amazing.
I was blessed, man. I was blessed.
Amazing.
But that's how we got to do it. Programs need to come back in the schools. Bell You know, their Bell Let's Talk Day, they've done a lot of good things with it. I looked into their programs. They're opening up new ways for people to reach help online. We're in an online world. We talk about it. So there is good to that. Right. There's a lot of great to the technology. Yeah. We can record things like this. We can put it out there for the world. If we help one person, great.
Done.
But, you know, for these kids now who can access help online, Kids Help Phone, all these chat lines.
Yeah.
Powerful. We need more of that.
We do. I mean, you brought up the 21 Challenge and why it's not back in schools, and that could be another topic. But I mean, if there are big corporations like Bell Mental Health Day, who would be able to fund, you know, certain programs, right? That alone would make a big difference. But then again, also you are, you know, you're an advocate. You know, you can talk to anybody. You can focus on what you do to the kids out there. And like, that 21-day challenge, I think, I mean, it was brilliant. I mean, I think that should come back.
Officially, it was called the 21-day Kind Every Time Challenge.
So every day they have to do something different every day?
Acts of kindness within their schools. You know what else I brought back through my programs, man? The buddy system. Remember the buddy? I had a buddy in grade 1. He was in grade 5. He was my hero, man.
Yeah.
He would walk into my classroom. That grade 5 student, his name was Bill, and I'll never forget it. He'd walk in, and I'm telling you, Dave, he had such an impact on my life. You know why? Why? Because he was kind to me. So I had that leadership role in my life early, and that stayed with me, man. I wish I could find him today. I don't know his last name. I'd like to tell him, dude, when you were my buddy in grade 5 and I was in grade 1, I just want to let you know you impacted my life.
Right.
So that was important to me. You know, it's funny, right? I tell the grade 5s when I used to go to the schools.
Right.
Habitual mistake there now.
I know.
I miss it though, man.
It's okay.
You'll
get back to it. You'll get back to it.
But I used to tell grade 5s that story, and I'd say like, man, you know when you go in the hall and those grade 1s see you, they're like, pow, those are superheroes, man. They look up to you.
Yeah.
You know, you guys look up to the grade 7s and 8s. That's how they look up to you. And, you know, when you have that opportunity to understand that and to, you know, it was really about reaching the kids that understood the power of influence.
Right.
You have the opportunity to influence kindness through your habits.
True.
And they would do that. So, you know, it became very cool, man. Pictures in the schools. One school did these footprints. Like every act of kindness, they put a footprint up on the wall. Yeah. And then when I came back to issue the awards after the challenge, dude, there was footprints everywhere in the school.
That's amazing, eh?
So all these things meant the world to me. But the biggest thing that I loved most was just the results, having the students open up, getting real. Lots of tears, lots of hard conversations. Sometimes I'd be sitting there going, I can't believe this person's sharing this with me. But I felt so privileged and honored that they felt comfortable to do that. And as a result of that, they were able to get it off their chest. So I don't know, man. Listen, it's you know, my dad died in 15. The programs came to an end for various reasons. But it's always stayed with me. Right. And that's why it's so fucking real, man, because even though the programs are not in the schools at this time, no matter what, it's me, man. So I didn't need to be doing it in order to continue it because it's who I am no matter who I meet. Right. If that makes sense.
No, it's true.
I'm not impacting the masses anymore.
No, it makes sense.
But dude, I'm telling you, with everything that's going on with the pandemic, and what I see online, I'm feeling the calling, man. Like I've got to get back into it. I've got to get back out there. And
that's why I really wanted to get you back on here just to talk about that. Do you think that the teachers, like, are not into it as much?
Teachers are too fucking overwhelmed themselves right now, man.
I'm not siding with the you know, with the fact that they're overwhelmed or they're not, or they're just, you know. I let me rephrase that. So back then, when you were able to speak to the teachers, the teachers were the extracurricular, but then again, it wasn't extracurricular. It was still during the day. So like they didn't have to sit there after school and build a plan.
That was key,
right? You built the plan for them and said, hey, listen, if you can incorporate this in your like, it may take 5 minutes out of the day to say, hey guys, we're going to do this. And this is why. Do you feel that, like, I mean, obviously it's a hard question to ask because back then it's like the teachers maybe didn't notice the mental health concerns that children had. You know, there's children that would just not have any friends and were bullied. So what I'm trying to ask is, will the teachers back then, were they really eager about this program?
Out of 10 teachers, you get one teacher asking, is this going to create more work for me? Okay.
Right.
That question stopped being asked after the first year of doing the programs, because here's the answer. My job, my program is not to increase your workload. It's to help your class flow go smoothly. So in other words, if you have good students in your class thinking about their choices of words and actions now, you're going to have better students. So that was the end result. We ended up creating stronger kids. The whole thing was building strong kids from the inside out. Okay, that was my phrase line. Leadership, passion, sportsmanship, energy, positive energy, building strong kids from the inside out.
Right.
And so teachers were all about it, because the reality was it didn't create more work. It created a positive start to their day. Okay, guys, so tell me about your acts of kindness at home last night. It took 5 minutes, man. That's it. Yeah. 5 minutes. And they recorded them. They talked about them, created more discussions. Everything started to go smoother now for a majority of the schools, because we had that mindset from the leadership down.
Right.
I would tell those grade 8s in the elementary schools, you are the most responsible. You have the most responsibility in this school for as far as how you're carrying yourself, because every kid below you can't wait to be you. That's powerful, man.
It is.
That's power. When you're young like that, you want to be grade 8. No, you're not thinking about slowing life down.
No.
You want to be grade 8. You want to be the big kid. You can't wait to get there.
Interesting way to see it.
But you have that opportunity to show influence. Use it.
Definitely is an interesting way to look at it. I really think that you should be back in at least one school to talk about it, and or build a program for it, whether it's whether it's like a Montessori school or private school or Catholic or public. I still think that we lack programs such as yours in today's schools. Now, obviously, with the pandemic, things are slowly starting to come in there.
Yeah.
I think it's a time where we should now focus on that to come back.
I appreciate that. And speaking of music, Dave, there's an artist that I recently discovered. He's been around for a while. It's in the rap hip hop genre, but his name is Dax, D-A-X. This guy, he's Canadian. I believe he's from Newfoundland. And I'll tell you, man, he spits some rhymes, and his stuff is all about mental health. Yeah, he's put some stuff out there that's not, but his focus is mental health, suicide prevention. His videos are very positive. He'll put the suicide prevention numbers on there. My point being is, I just recently read one of his posts, and I'm like, Dax, I used to do this in schools, man, and this needs to come back. This needs to be there. So you sit here saying this, it's true. And a guy like Dax, he's got that platform.
Right.
He can reach the masses, and they can keep pressing play on the music. And I'm going to encourage kids to do that. Listen to Dax. Listen to his messages. If you're out there and you like rap and hip hop, check him out, because music's so powerful, and we can learn. We can feel inspired.
Sure.
And I don't recommend a lot of artists, but this guy, man, I'd stand beside him in any school, because I believe in his messages too.
To work with him on that, man. You should reach out and
man, I'm just quote unquote average Joe.
That doesn't fucking matter. We're
I know, right?
But it doesn't matter.
I know.
He may say, I like your program. I know that for sure after this show, or on the YouTube channel, I would want you to share it to this guy.
I will. Oh, I will.
And put a plug in for him. Say, listen, man, your music was positive. I don't know him. I want to listen to him, and because there's listen, a rap song or hip hop doesn't have to be all about negative.
No, God no.
If you can make it more positive and still have a good spin on it, that you can enjoy it. Yeah. Hey, man, if it works, it works.
Yeah, and it's just music and what we're talking about. It just goes hand in hand.
Right.
Because when I was going through my shit, man, without music, I don't know. Like, seriously, because when you're alone, that's all you got.
I agree.
And the alternative is being alone in your head or pressing play.
Right.
I press play.
Right.
Because there was a time there where I didn't want to be alone in my head. And so when you discover artists like Dax, who is delivering messages like that, that's really great, man, because he's reaching that genre. He's reaching that audience that needs to hear this message that, you can be cool, you can be a rapper, you can be all this and that, but you got to take care of your mental health. Please take care of yourself, right?
Right.
And because we all have a journey, man. But I do feel the pull, Dave, more and more every day, because it's who I am, man. It's just, I've been a coach all my life, ever since I was little. through sports, and that's how I view my life every day. I'm just always a coach.
But it's also could be that Bill guy that was in your class that was in grade 5. That's where it started from. It's like that all that stuff just adds up to feeds that positive growth of what you are today.
Yeah. Well, and you talk about the teachers, right? And their perception of everything and their response back then. I just want to clarify this. Every school I was in from coast to coast, I was in the States as well.
Okay.
There wasn't one teacher, and I got to really, really, really be strict with that. There was not one teacher that had anything negative to say about it. Most of the time it was like, we haven't seen any type of response from our students like this. Then life happens. Everything crashes down. Shit happens. Dealt with. Rebuilding. When you rebuild yourself through a storm and you get through that storm and
you're fucking stronger. You're stronger.
You discover your true authentic self.
Yeah.
Is that fucking guy. That is the most powerful feeling in the world, man. Yeah. I didn't need to be in a school to be that guy.
Right.
Because that's who I am.
Right.
So now it's not about expanding and being big and all that stuff. And
right.
I just want to connect.
Right.
I want to reconnect. That's why the UI We Matter has stayed with the programs.
Yeah.
You matter, I matter, we matter. And it's absolutely true.
My God, I just realized that I never even brought that up.
That's okay,
in the beginning
because it doesn't need to be.
Okay, there you go. I thought oh my God, fuck, I don't want to do my job right here.
It's okay, man. It doesn't need to be, because it's not about plugging a brand, because it's not a brand, it's a lifestyle.
Right.
I do have the philosophy that you matter, I matter, and we all do matter. I really, really do. Even the ones that make you fucking scratch your head.
Yeah.
They have a life and they matter. And why are they acting this way?
Right. Why are they acting that way? Well, I mean, show the camera that the logo on your.
I don't know. Can you get that?
Yeah, I think we got it there. Perfect. Okay, good. I'm gonna put the links up on your Facebook page.
Listen, man, and my social media channels for it, they're not big because it's not about that for me, man. If they get big, it's going to be organic. It's going to be that. I'm not selling anything. I'm not pushing anything. If something happens organically that I'm back in schools, man, I'll be the happiest man in the world. I'll tell you that.
Right. Well, we talked about also monetizing it and having a feeling of just doing it based on passion.
Yeah.
And I feel you got both that. I think you have more passion than trying to think about how you can make money on it, which is it's not a bad thing. And I don't want to make it a bad thing where it's like, oh, everything's got to make money on. No, I'm just saying, like, the passion side, the money is there to help you bring tools back into the community.
That's what it was all about.
Okay. Because if we had fucking abundance of money that we can just throw around and say, okay, I'm going to build this school for this type of this and that, blah, blah, blah. No, I mean, like, we need you have to be entrepreneurial about this. The passion side and entrepreneur, if you can make those go hand in hand, then that's where the whole growth starts to happen.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because that was the one thing I was having a hard time with back in the day. Okay, I can share this without sharing the whole story, because honestly, Dave, the whole story is a different genre. Man.
Okay, it's fine.
Okay, but I will say this. I was having a hard time with that, because it was like I was making money from doing it, but I was doing something good. Then I was told, don't be afraid to make money from doing something good. It's true, right? I wasn't a not-for-profit. It wasn't a charity. I was just a guy going around trying to help, and people were saying, okay, well, we have to pay you.
How much you, you're right.
The first school asked me how much it was. I didn't know what to fucking say, man.
I'm like,
I didn't even know. I'm like, well, what do you mean?
Like
I
lunch,
thought,
maybe?
Yeah.
Lunch?
I thought in the first go that it would be like, okay, I'll send some information home with the students, and they'll get to read about my company. They'll go online, and, at the time we had T-shirts from our sports weekends and stuff. Maybe they'll buy a $10 T-shirt. I'd be tickled pink. Sure. And the one principal in Burlington, she said, no, we have a budget for this. How much is it? And I said, I got to get back to you.
Yeah.
So I had to come up with something, right?
Right.
So then I had to monetize it, and I did. I did become a little uncomfortable for a while. But what you said was how I got through it. It's like, no. This is helping me reach the next school. This is helping me reach more schools. It's okay.
Right.
It's okay to be paid for this, because at the end of the day, it's a service.
It is.
Look, it was never in the beginning like that, man, I was so uncomfortable making money from it.
Yep.
But if it was all about money, if it was all about monetizing that program, I could have done it in so many different ways.
Sure.
Right? We were close to launching it digitally because we were getting calls from out west and out east. I had just been up to Fort Mac for 5 weeks. Shit was happening. I was on Canada AM. I was in Canadian Living magazine. Like, shit was blowing up, man. And then my dad got sick. And that's when everything halted. You know, he was diagnosed with ALS.
Yeah.
But my point being is, man, yeah, it gave me a means to connect with the next school.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, man, there is nothing wrong with that. And I think it's got to come back. Like all the shows you've been on and interviews and schools and the impact. I'll have some more water, buddy. And just the impact about, I should have an assistant doing this, but there's no money involved.
We're building towards that, Dave. You're building
I
towards
need some water. Give me a rum and Coke and but, it's to make it like, we need that back in our lives again. And I truly believe that it can now that we are starting to see more kids, more people at workplaces, because it's not just happening at school.
Oh, no.
You can do workplaces. You can do team building.
I've been requested to do workplaces in the past too, and absolutely. I mean, ultimately, this is what we were talking about earlier. Adults have issues because they haven't learned coping skills, man. And we're not perfect. I'm an adult. And I get into some situations where I'm
still
fucked
get
up
fucked
for a day
up
or
per
two.
day sometimes, you know?
Sure, man, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that you're going to die. It doesn't mean you're not going to survive today.
Right.
I made a post the other day on Facebook. I think you liked it. You know, no matter the clouds, the sun's always right behind there. And I looked up at those clouds that day, and that was so evident to me. And it's true. It's really, really, it's a great analogy that clouds are going to come and go, just like the sky.
Right.
And when they do, you just got to trust that cloud's going to move. And it really, really does, man. And
I don't know, man. It's like we need to wake up. We need to wake up and be aware that what's going on, and the type of people that are affected by it. Everyone has a different way of showing the clouds. Okay, their mental health. It could be people that are just like very quiet, people that are very vocal. You know it, you see it. So you have to learn how to, recognize that and deal with that. Like I said, it could show its ugly face, and sometimes you can't even tell how much people are suppressing it or shutting it down from their daily lives. Adults, kids, and teens.
Totally.
We need to recognize this and open up to them. We spoke about tools and how music plays a big part in it.
Yeah.
I think, being music, I'm a huge music guy, and it's a super tool, like you just said. It's a super tool for me, and to aid and I mean, I got fucking issues.
Yeah.
Christ, I work every day. We all work.
Yeah.
Okay, but our minds go a million bazillion miles an hour. That's what we are bred for. We build, like they've built us to work, and spend, but provide an umbrella for our family. But we can't have that umbrella to say, oh, my kids are fucking awesome. I'm not going to talk to them.
Yeah.
And so to me, to go back to the music side of things, like I have my days where I'm work. I got to have music in the background when I'm working. If I'm in the office, I got to have some type of music in the background because, sometimes it'll be like, oh, that fucking song just came on. I'm like, oh my God. And, they just change. It could pivot from a shitty time to a great time. Right.
I've always said you can go from sinking in the ship, in the ocean during a song to I'm ready to climb Mount Everest.
Right.
That's the power of music.
Absolutely, dude. And I totally agree with that.
So what you listen to also is important too, for sure. If you're feeling down, don't put on Adele, man. Don't do it.
She's got a lot of haters now, man, from that little Vegas thing she did. But
it's crazy.
Oh my God.
But no, music's a huge tool, and it's in our life. It's a big, big way. So let's use it to our advantage. There's a need for a slow song from time to time.
No. Well, hey, listen, that might work for some people, but again, listen, the whole general side of music is definitely been a big part of people that I know, anybody, kids. I mean, like my kids listen to music. You know, I know that like they have to when they get in the car. And if I'm driving them back or to school or wherever it was, they hey, say, Dad, can you put the radio on?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, okay, no problem. I'll put the radio on or internet radio or whatever it's going to be. But they're on their phone. So then all of a sudden I'll turn the radio off just so that if they notice anything, right?
Yeah.
And I'll turn the radio off and all of a sudden they're like, hey, Dad, turn the radio back on. So I'm like, okay, so what are you really looking at? Like, why are you on your phone, buddy?
Yeah.
And I'm listening. Like, how can you process? You're listening to music, but you're looking at your phone. So to me, what I'm trying to tell you, what I'm trying to say is, I think that the music in the background is obviously helping something going on, or just that's their just normal routine.
Music in the background. I think music is just, it's like a frequency I think we just need. It's taken for granted.
Right.
And it's just assumed it's always going to be there.
Right.
And I think music in the background, whatever it is you're doing, is just, it's part of, that's just your aura. It's your energy, whether you're listening to it or not. It's true, man. Like, I'll have music on and my phone rings and I'm on it, or I'm reading something. I'm not hearing the song.
Right.
But the song's there and there's some peace about that.
Maybe the song's hearing you, whatever. You know?
I don't know, man, but it's healing. I'll tell you that much.
I think so. I think it is. And so basically to me is, I don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of years. Okay. Mm-hmm. What do you see happening the next 2 years with mental health? What do you see?
If we're not careful, it's going to be, we're going to see an overload in the need for therapists, for online. We're already seeing it, man.
Right.
Accessing more therapies online through Zoom meetings, access for kids to never have to wait for online help. We're in an online world. As much as we can get into in-person discussions is the best way.
Right.
But if you have access to a keyboard, to a phone, and you can get online with a therapist, the government, the Canadian Health Association, the Mental Health Association, I should say, CMHA, they're going to have to really work with Bell, I think, because they seem to have a lot of dineros right now. And we need to get more therapists licensed, especially towards children therapy, because that's where it's got to start. Right. It's not to say high school students don't matter, but they're at a different level, man. Different therapies are needed.
Right.
If we can get them at a young age and get them thinking straight, we're going to avoid a pandemic in its own right, with mental health.
I totally agree with that. It's like
more and more people are missing work now because of it.
Man, missing work, missing school, their marriage, their relationships, it's to me, I think it's going to be a big problem coming the next 2 years if we don't fucking address it.
Yeah, and part of me just wants to say, okay, I'm ready. Let's get back in the schools, man. Let's get rolling again so that we avoid that 2 years down the road.
What's stopping you?
Me, man. And it's just timing, I think. Waiting for that first invite, maybe.
Yeah. Well, you also things.
And I work now.
Well, that's the thing.
It's not my job anymore.
Things crashed down.
Yeah.
You stopped, had to work.
Yeah.
This family pandemic, financial situations, that all basically are all part of a mental health thinking.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what the fuck am I going to do?
Yeah.
Right. So we all got to work. We have to survive.
Yeah.
We have to survive. But I truly believe that once you're stable at what you're doing, you stabilize, your particular, job you're doing for the day. If you can think about the posts that you do, think about the all the classes you could be teaching, then that tells me that you have time to do it.
Yeah, okay? Fair enough.
I'm not trying to be a fucking therapist, but I'm just saying, like when I'm at my job, I work on cars. I manage a company that works on cars. Yeah. So to me, it's like when I have time, when I'm thinking about other businesses that I'm involved with or passionate things I'm involved with that are colliding with my business, I'm like, okay, well, that's good. Now I'm fucking focused on the passion side.
Yeah.
So some things can say, hey, passion can overrule that. You know what? have a look. I'm always analyzing my work that I do that pays my bills. Okay. I'm always thinking to myself, is there something else that I can do that can pay my bills?
Yeah.
Like our full-time job may not be able to have us leave or take a day off per week, but maybe we should. Maybe that helps us mentally.
Sure.
Yeah,
I totally hear what you're saying.
I don't want to try to blab on about this, but it's like, I hope we can all think about that, that we are all work, 5, 6, 7 days a week. Why not have a day off? Even if you work 5 days a week, you got a day off to yourself, mental health day. I think those should be a prerequisite to all companies.
Yeah, I agree.
I've got friends and family that work for big corporations.
Yeah.
And they're online and they're working from home and they've got kids at home and their wives or girlfriends at home and it's a fucking chaos.
Yep.
How could you like mentally get yourself prepared for that or deal with that?
Yeah, because then at the end of the day, you're unplugging from work, but then you're still there.
You're still there.
Yeah.
You don't get up. You don't do your steps. I fully believe you should get up and move your fucking legs.
Yeah, man.
Like even if you have to grab a coffee, go outside and just walk around a bit, just get the fresh air in you, man. You're just sit in the backyard.
Dave, it's funny you mentioned that. You got to rewind a couple seconds here. You go, you ask the most important question, what's stopping you? And as I'm sitting here listening to you, I find myself challenged in my response because I'm not happy with my response. I read a book by Jocko Winnick. He's a former Navy SEAL. Him and his partner there, also a former Navy SEAL. It's called Extreme Ownership. And it's really a book about, they give a practical military exercise and how that's applied into the business world, right? But it was well written and I learned a lot. But the ultimate lesson there is, when you're in a position of authority, leadership, management, anything like that, you are 100% responsible for your team. You're 100% responsible for the actions. Even though Chuck may have dropped the box and broke the $1,000 glasses, it's still on you as the leader, right? Ultimately, you're not directly affected, but you are because you're in charge of Chuck. So why? What's stopping me? Me. That's it, man. Because now I've rebuilt this whole other section of my life. And I've proven that you can rise again. You can rebuild yourself no matter what you fucking go through and come out better. I'm a better man today because of the lessons I've learned through my choices, through my mistakes. I'm a better father today. I'm a better brother today. I'm a better person today because I'm truly my true authentic self. The programs, the Kind Every Time, 21 Day Challenge, that's always a part of me because that's who I am. It was built from my heart and soul. That will never be changed. What's stopping me, Dave, is the fact that in order to do something like this, you need the ability to be available almost on a daily basis. Now, is there a magical way where, okay, one here, one there, one here, one there, but then I got to have an understanding boss who's going to say, right, Joey, you can have the day off. And that's another thing I had to adjust to, man. I had a boss again, right? Yeah. But if you're doing your work and you're doing a good job, you're being a good team member, a good classmate, you never have a boss. You don't have a boss. You have an acquaintance. You have a friend. But why? It's just me, man. It's just me. So in the meantime, I connect with who I can, when I can, how I can on a daily basis, and I help in any way I can. It's not, to me, about money. It's not about that. I want to reach the masses properly. I want to do it right. It can't be half-ass. You can't do it because I've proven that. You have to go all in. Yeah. So that would require a significant sacrifice on I'd have to roll the dice again. Right. I've done it, man. I've built a business. That's one thing. Even though it all came crashing down in the end, I did that, man. Yeah. I did that. And it's still paying dividends in the effects of the program from the students that still message me today. It's awesome. And Dave, we're talking like the last time I was in the school was 2015, man. And kids today that are in university will message me. Like, it's just powerful. So I know I need to get there.
No, I know, but my entrepreneurial like fucking mind is like spinning like crazy because I'm listening to you. It's like, our today's topic was what tools can we use? Yeah. That 21 day challenge is a fucking awesome tool that you can bring back to or refine it. Yep. And build on that. And I think and I believe that more verbal conversations in their faces are a must. Yes, you talked about the digital world. I get that. But nobody can say I would think that in a household family, that everyone's household right now can say to them that, yes, you know what? We've got a fucking perfect household. I know what my kid's doing. There's not one family out there that has that ability to say, I live in a fucking, my family is great. I'm in their faces all the time. We got a perfect world. I do this. I got this going. They're probably the most unhappiest family.
Yeah.
If they're using that as an excuse. So what I'm trying to get at, Joey, is that I think the 21-day challenge, a tool of that nature for companies, for schools.
Yep.
There's stressful companies out there, like we just talked about, working from home. Whether they tune in online, it doesn't matter. You're going to help that one person, right, in that company.
Yeah.
1 to 10,000 people. It doesn't really matter. And I truly think that you gaining a network of people that you spoke to that want to keep in touch with you.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, I'm going to probably do that afterwards. Is put an email address where they can reach out to you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because it doesn't have to affect your day job.
No.
You can do this at night. You
Yeah.
know, you can do this at night, and it's like what I do now with my other companies is that I have a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And then I have a 5 to 9.
Yeah.
And I know that I have a family and blah, blah, blah. I get that. It could be 5 to 6. It could be 7 to 9. Whatever it may be. We have the time to do that. And if you built that clientele base, not clientele, the fan base or the help base or whatever, in a conversation base, and you keep in touch with them, or they reach out to you, or you provide like newsletters to them and say, hey man, this is what I've got going here.
Yeah.
Or you volunteer, like you come to my studio and say, Dave, listen, I want to have your studio for like a couple hours or 3 hours. I want to bring about 30 people in just to talk about mental health. Fucking right, man.
Yeah.
You do that.
That's awesome.
I think that would be, and I would be more than happy to work with you on that sort of stuff. If that, because I think people today, whether the parents bring their kids to your little seminars or big seminars or whatever it may be, they fucking need to hear this now.
Yeah, man. It's great too, because the odd school would have a Q&A for parents with me at nighttime, and I love those because that's where you're in the gymnasium, and a lot of them brought their kids, the students too. So it'd be a packed gymnasium for Q&As. I like that.
That's perfect.
It's really great, and man. Especially when I was in Fort McMurray, the parents, the questions were all so great questions too.
Yeah.
Like, asking the right questions, like, how is this going to help our community long term? Well, repetition.
Right.
Teaching to help not hurt through repetition. Right. Making sure that this continues at home. Home. It has to start at home, no matter what.
100 fucking percent.
That's your fucking hub, dude. That's your center of your universe.
Right.
And if you don't have the tools at home, you're gonna go elsewhere for it, and that's where kids start going down the wrong roads, man.
But there's kids that are a minority of kids that do not have a home.
I know.
Get that?
I know.
And we can't help. I mean, you can't help everybody.
Nope.
Okay. So you focus on the majority. Majority of people have family at home and kids at home. And to continue on your conversation, yes, it starts at home.
Yeah, it does. And it's so simple to say, but it's the absolute truth because I've seen it, man, firsthand. If the student's going home at the end of the day and he or she is having, let's just say he or she's getting bullied pretty hard at school, verbally, maybe physically in the playground. He or she's too afraid to talk to a teacher. They go home. How's everything at school today? Good. And they go up to their room, and then they're buried on their phone, reading the hate, reading all this. Right. Dude, it's overwhelming for students, man. It is overwhelming. I don't care who you are, how thick your skin is. When you start reading hate messages from people you don't even know, man. Now the reality is people's opinions of you is none of your business. As an adult, you can kind of percolate that, process that, and understand that. When you're a kid, they don't understand that.
No.
What do you mean that doesn't affect me? That hurts me. So we really got to teach the help not hurt mentality. Right. And through our programs, we had a lot of students that would come up to me and verbally tell me, listen, I've online bullied and I'm never going to do it again. Because, man, Dave, so many students that I know who shared this with me have changed for the better because we've stayed in touch.
Right.
The reality is what you say, what you share, what you post online says more about your character than anything else. I can sit here and tell you what my beliefs are, and that's great.
Right.
And then you see me at home sharing hate shit, commenting rudely on things.
Right.
Schools, universities, colleges, employers, they look at your social media profile more today than anything, because the interviewers are going, okay, I read what's on paper, but I want to see what you're really doing.
Right.
And if you don't have a good social media fingerprint, a digital fingerprint, you could ruin yourself out of a scholarship, a job, military, service to your city. Right. They'll look, man, and if they see you spit and hate, because once you hit send, you cannot take it back.
Right.
Because here's what people do now: screenshots.
Yep.
Double tap the back of your new iPhones, man. Boom, you've got it. You go and delete that, doesn't matter. I got it. So be careful with what you're doing online.
Yeah.
Another part of the programs, especially in high schools, was that, and that needs to come back, because just read it, man. Go on Twitter. It's awful. It's awful. People just are so brave on their keyboards, spitting
keyboard
hate.
Warriors.
You wouldn't say that to somebody's face.
No. You know, and you said about the high school and universities. The universities, first year university students now that have, you know, from grade 12 or grade 13, grade 12. I think they should bring back grade 13. Grade 12, basically, they're in an online world. Okay.
Yep.
And they're now going to university. All right. So in high school, you basically had a teacher who would help you. Okay. They're most of the time, they're here to help you. Okay. You go to university, there is no, the teachers are not going to help you. For me, that transition from being able to ask your teacher or the teacher to say, hey, listen, Joey, you should be doing the grammar this way in order to, you know, complete this sentence or whatever it may be. They go to university, they write a paper, and they do shit on this paper because there was no help. The guidance from the grade 12, you know, definitely helped them that way, but they're not getting any help when they're in university.
Right.
To me, it seems like university, there's so many kids that go to university, it's like they almost set themselves up. The university sets these kids up for failure, okay? And the strong survive it, okay? And, you know, I'm not going to carry on with that, but I believe that the kids that were in an online world at grade 12 and going to an online world university are struggling more than how it was when other people went to university, where they went from grade 12. They go do the walk around in the university. Oh my God, fuck! I love this campus. I'm going to do it, and it's like, and they're okay. Well, they work. Everyone's got to work hard at it.
Yeah.
But I think it's a different mindset. Mentally.
I agree. You know, I do agree, and it's not going to change, man. More and more is going online now, and you know, you asked me what's going to happen in 2 years, and my response was we need more online therapy.
Yeah.
Because there is some advantages to that. But I agree with you, man. In university, you know, here, do your work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do I go for help?
Yeah, like you guys are, their parents or themselves are paying big money to go to do these, you know, to go to university to learn to get a degree. And
you're dealing with an administrator just checking off your boxes whether you got it right or wrong. That's it.
So I don't know. That's a totally separate thing, but I just try an overall picture that the kids today that are transitioning from a high school to university are having a lot more problems to deal with mentally. Yeah. And that affects everything. And it's like, okay, yeah, you know what? Maybe we do need to have more online therapists. Whether that therapist can take, you know, a couple kids and talk about the similar situations they have, or they just deal with one kid at a time. I think we need that. Yeah, definitely. I agree with you on that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Or now that we can go see somebody, whether it's fuck it. Just, I want people to open up and say, hey man, I got a fucking problem here.
That's it. Powerful, man. That's it. That's ticket number one. I need help.
Yeah, I need help. That is the number one thing is admitting that you have that there's something wrong with you. Not a problem, that there's something that you want to talk about.
And you know, man, it's growing up, depression, anxiety. The mental health spectrum wasn't talked about a lot, right? I think you know that. It wasn't even on the fucking radar, man.
No.
If somebody said take an antidepressant in 1980, what's that?
What's up? Now you're gonna be addicted to drugs now?
Right. So we've come a long way, but I do fear more numbers are going to rise because of the online behaviors, man.
Yeah. I totally agree, man.
It's true. No matter, dude, as much as I say I'm not addicted to our phone, for sure we are. It's become part of our life.
Absolutely, man.
It's how we communicate.
Right.
It's how we say hello to our children. I wish my kids a good day every day, tell them how much I love them on a text message. Because it's quick, it's easy. I'm not saying we're disconnecting.
Yeah.
Not meaning my family. I mean in general.
Generally, socially.
So there's some powerful things about our phones. Great ways to stay quickly connected with your loved ones and families. But it's the stuff we get sucked into. I call it the black hole vortex, man. You get sucked into that black hole where you're reading too much negativity, and then you've read so much of it, you just you just want to hate back now.
Right.
I was reading a bunch of stuff on a certain topic yesterday on Twitter, and I was starting to feel agitation. I got off of it, man. I got off of it. I wanted to respond, and I'm like, no, I don't give a shit. I'm off of this.
Yeah.
Done. Out. Disconnect. We need to disconnect more. But I do fear a rise in challenges, man, because of everything, because of technology. But because of technology, we can reach masses.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been talking about my podcast now for 2 years, man.
I know you come down to the studio, you're like, he goes, I'm scared to fucking start one because look at the shit you have here. I'm like, well, you don't need.
It's intimidating, man. Like the viewers don't see what I got to see, but man, listen, if we want to do a bikini photo shoot here, not that I look good in a bikini, but you got lighting, we've got it all here, man. So I know what you said, though. You can start off with a good laptop and a microphone. I get it. I just need to start, man.
You just need to start.
I need to get back out there in bigger. See, I've become a little bit complacent, Dave. I've become complacent in the Monday to Friday.
We all get that, dude.
Monday to Friday, do my work, get home. We become creatures of habit. My habit prior to my father's death was my programs. Then that happens. New habits had to be created, right?
Right.
I got a great life, man. I have nothing to complain about, but I do miss the ability to connect on a bigger scale. So the podcast has to come. I got to just do it, man. And I know I would create fears. Like, am I going to have enough material? Are you kidding me?
Dude,
mental health?
Don't even think that that's going to be an issue. You can have the podcast could be an aid for people that like, you don't even have to have a guest on, like how, you could just talk about like a certain scenario and someone's going to relate to that. Yeah. It's just a freedom of speech, but you talking. That's all it is, man.
Yeah, and I've done the odd Facebook Live and stuff like that before too, and you get a couple people engaging, and that's all it takes, man.
Right.
If you just reach that one person, it's true. So to summarize where this is going, man, I want to get back out there eventually. I really, really do. It's going to start off probably with the podcast. That's the easiest way to get
easiest
going.
way.
And then all it takes, Dave, is just that one person to hear it and say, thank you. And I recommended it to this person, and then you grow your audience.
Right.
I've proven that I can do it.
Right.
To me, but hey, man, I'm not 40 anymore either. I'm
don't even fucking say that. It doesn't even matter. I'm 52. I still DJ.
Yeah, man, I love it, dude. I love it. Hey, listen, we are evident that numbers don't matter. It's
exactly what I was gonna say.
I'm 49 and I still feel 25. I really do.
When are you turning 50?
October.
Man, I was going to say we should get a little 50th bash going. Well, we will.
Must.
Actually,
please.
We will do that. We will do that.
DJ Dave needs to be in the house because not only are you a great DJ, man, it's just the way you spin, the way you deliver. You can tell that you just love doing it.
Wow. And it applies to everything, even what we talk about for you as well, right? For passion that we talk about. I express it with my music and the ability to curate and make people happy. The same thing what you do. We try to, we try to say to ourselves, okay, what triggers someone to really go, hey, I love this music. it's a good mix, it's a good track, good vocals.
Yeah.
You know, you got good topics, but the triggers in a negative situation of people are starting to be more prone and more short fuse, let's say, that we're seeing that more often now, especially in the kid, especially in anybody. Okay. Yeah. Now that's probably something new for you to recognize, and it could be anything from one word to something mentally that triggers them to go off and start being angry. Okay. So in your line of work there, it's now going to be hopefully like a new thing you have to recognize and talk about is trigger points, triggers.
Yeah, it's huge. It really is. And it can be the simplest things. You could be in a great mood and then just something happens and you're sitting there going, what just happened?
Right.
But then you got to recognize what to do next, whether you jump up and jolt your body. Yeah. You know, I listen to, Waking the Giant Within himself, Mr. Robbins, all the time, man. And, you know, some people are like him, some people don't, but some of it's corny, but it works, man. Yeah. If I wake up and I'm feeling a little dark, bang, I jump up with such aggression out of my bed and I reach for the ceiling fast and furious. And then I go to the bathroom and I fucking force myself to smile at myself. Dave, I've done it, man. And it works.
Well, hey, you just admitting that?
I added the smile part, but I do, man. I jolt my body.
Yeah.
I jolt my brain.
Yeah.
I go in the bathroom. I smile at myself, and I'm fucking laughing at myself because what I just did. I'm like,
I'm going to have a great day today.
And you know what, man? It just shifts. So I've learned that through reading, listening, educating myself. Not all of my teachings work for me. That's the thing about mental health.
Sure.
It's really, you got to find what works for each individual person. Right. And how that happens is through the communication. Right. You might hear something, you might say something that just clicks with yourself or the person you're with, and they just have a completely different perspective. Yeah. Listen, I've gained the ability to manage I don't even call it depression anymore, because today I'm in the best shape of my life mentally and physically because of my belief system, the work I've done, becoming the best version of who I am. Yeah. Understanding it took my father's death for all of this to happen, Dave. I can't express the importance of that.
Yeah, no kidding.
But through communication, you learn, you pick up tools. Right. And that's how I've been able to do that. So now I like to share that. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
No, but bring your fucking toolbox to the.
Bring the toolbox. I like
bring
it.
Bring
the toolbox.
Okay, you're gonna go see somebody, talk to somebody. You've got a toolbox. You got your tool belt on. Okay, you know what? I can see this. This is how I would handle it. Yeah. Okay, this is how I would do it. But I love the fact that, and you're more professional than I am, but it's not
I
about
say in all areas.
Well, I believe that just opening up and talking about it is one key tool to have, is to be able to say, hey man, how's your fucking day going today? You know, and that could just trigger something saying, you know what, I had a fucking awful day today, man. I'm glad you asked. Like, you got a couple minutes? I gotta let it out. You know, that shit you thrive on, right? And some people can't accept or deliver that.
Well, another thing too is it's the second question that sometimes needs to be asked. Hey man, how was your day? Generally you're going to hear good. Then my next question is, no, really, man, how was your day? Talk to me.
Name a couple things that happened today that really made your day special.
That's awesome right there. You said that earlier. Name 3 things, and you even said whether it's 3 or 1 or 2, or it could be fucking more. Who knows, right? But just to get them, like, no matter how bad of a day you've had. Yeah. You know what, man? When I got my coffee, the barista was so nice to me. I recognize that kindness. It could be something like that.
Absorb that.
You know, it's funny. One of my closest friends today, Tyson, I work with him, and he said to me, when I first met you, I thought you were fake. He goes, how can somebody be so positive and just be happy all the time? Yeah. And, dude, we'll put in like 30, 40-hour snow shifts together sometime, right? Because we plow in the winter. And I'll maintain that. And he said, it took me over a year to truly understand that this is who you are. That this is like, wow.
It happens, man.
And that's all part of becoming my true authentic self, right? I'm the best version of myself today.
Good for you, man. It's awesome.
I forget where I was going with this, but you had said something to trigger it. Oh, just about, just being positive and just
open.
Yeah, there was something you said though. I want to bring it back. I just can't remember. This is the power of editing, right?
Well, you know what? Honestly, we've been fucking doing something great. I don't think I got to edit anything.
Okay, good. And you don't even edit this. We're human. Sometimes we forget what we were going to say, I do. But I was leading to something about that, man. But
well, we got the tools we use. We've got, just being open and saying, hey, listen, I've got, name. Just give me one thing during the day that you.
Oh yeah. And at work, Tyson, and he won't mind me saying this either. We've had some great talks about that, about mental health and about life. And I don't know how much of that he's had in his life, if that makes sense.
And nor that you should.
I appreciate
right.
it. But, just through being me, though, I've proven to somebody that there are good, genuine people out there, man. And not everybody's fake.
Right.
Just because somebody's kind and positive doesn't mean they're fake or they're acting. You can't act that way, man, all the time. No. You know what I mean? You just can't. You can't. And you doing that, people think, oh, he's fake, or she's fake. What are people going to get off on that? There's a reason why you're in a negative way. If you're doing that negatively, there's a reason why you're doing that. Yeah. But and the thing is too, to what you're saying, if not just Tyson, but anybody, if anybody has that mindset towards somebody like me, I think it speaks more to what they're going through maybe in their life, what they've experienced in their life. Maybe they haven't had positive relationships, positive friendships, just real positive people in their life.
But you don't need to pry that out of them. Okay. No. You don't need to know them to say, no, well, tell me what happened back then in 1978. When unless they bring it up to you, you shouldn't. I'm not telling you what to do, but I would never say, well, this happened at home back in 25 years ago. Okay, well, you know what? I mean, don't just deal with it right now. Deal with their small baby steps. Deal with the fact that, listen, I'm having a fucking hard time at home with my dad. We don't quite get along and blah, 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 and this and that. And you can talk about it. Yeah. You're not going to give them a solution, but you're going to give them maybe a direction or a tool they can use to help.
And through discussion, sometimes the answer reveals itself.
Right? Right?
It does, man. Something can be said.
Yeah.
And you just figure it out just through discussion to have that sounding board, right?
Right.
It's important, man.
Totally agree, man. I think today was fantastic. I appreciate coming today.
I appreciate it.
It's
a
Sunday.
Always.
It's a Sunday. We're going to be
Super Bowl Sunday,
man. I know, Super Bowl Sunday.
I'm excited for the halftime show.
I know, right? I'm like,
yeah, man.
But here's the thing, though, is like you got kids that are watching Super Bowl. They may have no idea what old school hip hop is, but I'm going to turn that around. They're they know this shit.
Yeah, man.
Why do you think they brought them in there?
I've seen some memes floating around there, like if you have kids in their teens today and you're a dad or a parent in your 40s, early 50s, you're about to introduce your kids to your upbringing.
This is our genre.
Like for me personally, Eminem was a big part of me. Like, I mean, I was in my late 20s when he first came out, but music's so powerful to me.
Dude, the fucking lyrics that he spat out was unbelievable.
He's a magician, man. He's the best lyricist in the world, in my opinion.
And it was amazing that Dr. Dre took him under his wing because he knew this guy, from Detroit, and lived in a trailer, can come up with lyrics that was all about his life.
Yeah, man, see that?
Okay, like
all his pain,
like the rapper that you've took interest in.
Dax.
Okay, so I really think that. And obviously this show is going to be aired post the Super Bowl. So what are you thinking? Who's going to win?
I'm telling you, man. I'm not going to give they should win, but I think they're going to win.
Right.
I think the Bengals are going to win, man. There's something special about that Burrow kid right now. He's got some swagger. Did you know he's not lost a playoff game yet?
Serious?
His college days, he's 7-0 in college.
Wow.
Or something like that. And now he's what, 3-0?
Yeah.
So I think there's something special about him. I think
it'd be good for that. Good for that city.
I was just gonna say, man, like Cincinnati, it would be so great for that city. They haven't
God.
won it since fucking what's his name? The blonde guy. He was his quarterback. I
I'm
forget his name.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, there you go.
Shouldn't forget his name.
I'm not a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of sports.
Yeah.
I am not a huge. I don't watch football religiously.
Yep, fair enough.
I admit I'm a bandwagon. Super Bowl.
Sure.
So I just enjoy the vibe.
Yep.
And fuck yeah, I enjoy the halftime show, man.
Well then, knowing that,
Yeah.
please don't take my prediction and say I'm going to bet the farm on it. But hey, listen, man, if you wanted to throw a honey down, that might turn into a few bucks.
Ooh,
but
man, okay, we'll see.
But
we'll see.
I do. It's just, but yeah, Eminem, Dr. Dre,
Mary J.
Blige.
My God.
Who else do we got? We got all kinds of people, and there's going to be guests. Apparently, they've got 2 deaf rappers coming on as well.
Nice.
So,
Well, Snoop Dogg did buy Death Row
Records, man.
Death Row Records.
Yeah.
So, these are all the shit that we could love, and we do. We love all type of music. We could be listening to like heavy metal and good rock.
Yep.
But you know what though? We know Snoop Dogg. We know those.
Yeah.
We know Run DMC because we grew up with that, and that
yes.
shit stays with us.
Yep.
Fucking stays with us. So I'm looking forward to halftime, but I'm also looking forward to, to good sports, good beers, good food. Because I'm going up to my brother-in-law's place.
Good.
So we're gonna sit there.
See, it's about togetherness, man.
Yes.
Together.
Right.
Creating those nice moments.
Oh yeah. So we got a bunch of our friends coming up as well, and no women, but they listen. They're staying back home. They're gonna watch Super Bowl halftime.
I love it.
And drink their little fancy wines and so forth.
Sure.
But,
do their thing, man.
Exactly. But listen, Joey, I really appreciate if somebody wants to really get a hold of you. You okay to give them your address?
Yeah,
email address?
just emails joeydrex@gmail.com. They can reach me on Facebook, Joey Drex. We've got the UI We Matter Facebook page, UI We Matter on Twitter. UI We Matter is on Instagram. I'm on TikTok, Joey Drex.
Okay. I'll put those links up on the screen when after this show, and we'll go through it, and they can go through it. They can get a hold of you.
Yeah, they can.
Anything that you guys, anybody out there want to talk about shit, positive or negative, it doesn't matter. This guy right here will definitely sit down and talk to you. I believe that he's going to help anybody with what they have going on with them in their life, and if the tools are there, man. Life lesson tools are there, and that's really what I think. Instead of medication, which some people do require it, but without medication, we have the mental tools to help people.
We do, we really do.
So
there's times for medications, but I believe that if you nip it in the butt first and you start communicating right away, you can find the depth of the challenge you're going through and avoid hopefully medication. But again, I'm not against it. There is definitely needs for medication, but let's just try to avoid it. Let's not make these pharmaceutical companies any richer than they already are, man.
Exactly. Joey, listen, brother, thanks so much for coming on. I want to say thank you. Cheers.
Thank you, buddy.
And I want to thank you for coming on. And
last time we had wine, man. I guess it's too early for
listen,
wine.
It is it's too early, but next time around, we'll do that again. This is not the last time. I mean,
Dave, I can't wait to have you on my podcast one day.
I'm there, buddy.
You inspire me, man. I watch you every day. You're busy with
Thanks,
this,
brother.
dude, and I really respect
man.
it.
Appreciate
I've seen
it.
the growth and your sauces too, man. I love your sauces.
I appreciate that, man.
Best sauces. Four Fathers, man. Go check them out.
God. It's a big plug for us right now, but it's been really good. But honestly, Joey, I'm happy that you're here. Happy you came down.
Likewise.
And we'll definitely continue on this journey.
Yeah. You know what? And when I'm back in the classrooms and when I'm in the workplaces doing this, I'll have you to thank, man. Because you know what? You've been somebody who's really been advocate on. You need to get back at it. And
well, thank you.
And so I just want to thank you for that because it does matter to me and it means a lot, man.
Yeah, for sure. It's not about bringing somebody in just to fill time up. No. This is you serve a purpose in life, and I'm just the type of guy that just says, hey, listen, with anybody, music, anything in life, trades, work. If I feel that you got it or you can do it, I'm going to voice it, man. Whether you listen to me or not, I'm just going to fucking voice it. I'm not forcing you to do it.
Yeah, man.
You know,
I like it. I like it. You give me a nice platform here, and I'd just like to say one last thing to the listeners out there is that no matter what it is you're going through, no matter what it is you're dealing with in life, no matter your backstory, your current situation, is that your life does matter. You matter, absolutely, and you're worth it. And you know what? The sun will come out again. You just got to believe in yourself. Start the communication. Reach out to a family, to a friend. Let them know you're struggling, because without that first step, you can't get to the second step. You can't do it on your own all the time.
Right.
Just know that people love you, and always remember that you matter, I matter, we matter.
We matter. You said it perfectly, buddy. Thanks so much for stopping by today, and look forward to a massive journey in this new forwardness that we have going here.
Yeah, man. Let's roll.
Awesome, buddy. Thanks so much, buddy.
Thanks, Dave.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.